Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're with us on this Monday morning. Start another week of Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate the viewership. Can you believe we saw wrapping up the month of April in a day or two, and we got May coming up, and wow, this has been a windy month, and we'll talk more about that, but May is an exciting month, and we'll talk about that in a day or two. But let's get started with today's show. Our weather brought to us by Drew Potter's company, Gulf Coast Air Conditioning, taking care of our everyday comfort needs. High, it's going to be comfortable, high of 80, low of 64. And it's going to be, the water temperature at the end of the pier is still around 70 degrees, which is pretty steady. Every Monday we like to do what the moon is doing, and before we talk about what the moon is doing tonight, was that not some beautiful full moons last week? Started Tuesday night and Wednesday night, just orangish and pinkish and all kind of colors. So many people posted pictures of it, and I got to watch it over the bay. Outstandingly beautiful moon. So hopefully we'll have another one looking like that in May. But right now we're at a half a moon tonight, and it's on a waning phase. We'll have a new moon in about 6 days. All right, the tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Good, strong tide today. Looking at low tide this morning at 12:28, and a high tide after lunch at 1:37. And the wind is going to be in double figures today, which I think almost every day this month it has been in double figures. I might have been 1 or 2 days I saw it around 8 or 9, but I'll have to look and see. But it's going to be blowing about it's going to be blowing 15 out of the east, where the fish bite the least. Take a break, we'll be right back with our guest. Welcome back, and here he is, my cohort in crime and co-host so many times.
Hey, buddy.
My buddy Bill. We're sitting here talking. I just said, it's time to come on the show, man. So he's not hesitating, and he's always so good about helping out when I'm out of town, and I love doing the show with him. And we've already caught 2 or 3 fish before the show started.
That's right. That's right.
And,
no kidding.
If you look at my lineup right here, it's blank. We have nothing to talk about. He brought some pictures, and we're just going to talk about fishing because this is about that time.
It is. You know, you have to put up with the little wind, but I've been pretty fortunate over the last couple of weeks to sneak out and do some different things.
Yeah.
But, and I want to give a shout out to Steve and Michelle. They are faithful viewers of the show, and I just want to say hey.
Okay.
And you know, you get that a lot. You run into a lot of people. Man, I watch it all the time.
What is so cool. We love seeing it.
That's true.
Hearing from y'all and seeing y'all, it's cool.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, Greg and I snuck out from the afternoon, caught a tide right, and we didn't find any redfish that we could catch, but Greg pulled in that nice trout, which I think was a little over 19 inches. And then I'm not holding it good, but that one's almost the same size. And if you look, that was the first fish on topwater this year. That was the first fish on the Skitter Walk this year. And it was just too pretty, and we started to get some cloud cover, so I pulled it out. And it was a lot of fun. Now, that's my buddy Howard Pfizer. And we're down at Dead Lakes just because we wanted to be, and we were fly fishing. And Howard, kind of like my big brother. I've known him since I was like 14. In fact, he's the first one that took me bass fishing down on Dead Lake.
How about that?
And we started surfing together and fishing together and have been friends ever since. And that's a couple of nice ones that he picked up down there. The water was really high when we went, but it didn't make any sense, but we wanted to go. We had a good time and caught some fish. I think Howard wore me out there. But
nice.
And then Dalton and I got to sneak off up in the sand hills, and we floated around and drowned some crickets and picked up some really decent brim. But we had a great time. I don't get to fish with Dalton enough anymore. He stays busy all the time, and I am, but I love going out with him and fishing, of course.
That is good.
And that's just some decent, decent fish we caught. Now here is one of two really nice birds that my buddy Jeremy Vaughn killed in the last weekend of the season. And he sent me another picture, and of course with my tech ability, I somehow lost it. But he called the bird for a friend of his who doesn't call very well, and they killed that. But Jeremy worked hard that last weekend. This is the next bird. That's the spurs off this bird. Mm-hmm. And then that's Jeremy, and that is a fine one right there. You got an 11+ inch beard, and that one's going to be mounted. But Jeremy, I mean, he hunts all over the country. He fishes, and he's a great outdoor cook too. So I always love being around Jeremy. He is a lot of fun. I thought I had some more, Winston, but
that's been a pretty active time between freshwater fishing and saltwater fishing.
Getting the chance to
that's cool.
to get out like that. But I had some of that. So last time Bill and I were at the houseboat, we had on one line, we had one line run, and that is a 10-pound cat. And if you look there, in the sink there at the houseboat, we had a 10, 2/8, and a 4 off that one line.
Man.
But yeah, we had a great time.
Is that the time y'all went and did it during the day y'all were catching them, or was that another time?
This, I mean, we're starting to bait them now. Like when we get down there, we'll bait the line, whatever time in the afternoon, and then run it and rebait it, like at 5:30, 6 o'clock. And you can tell we're getting, I mean, we used to, we'd run lines 2 or 3 times a night till early in the morning. And now we, get up the next morning to go check that before we go fishing.
It's harder to get up around midnight. It's just hard to get up when you see
2 o'clock in the morning.
And you think, well, that fish will still be on there at 6 o'clock in the morning.
You're hoping so. But I mean, it's odd, as most of you know who do this, trying to bait lines while it's daylight, and so. And we back to the strawberry chicken,
Oh, okay.
Yep, using that strawberry chicken.
We're going to talk about that. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about that strawberry chicken. Okay, welcome back. We could have just kept it running during a commercial and we wouldn't have missed a beat. We're talking about these concoctions and all when you're putting things together on trot lines. They're very special to a lot of us because it goes back to when we were kids and watching our dad. And my dad would always use table worms and ivory soap and concoction, and every generation sort of mixed it together. But Bill Shields had come up with something I never heard of a little while back. So and they got a houseboat down there and it goes all the time. So
yeah.
Tell about the strawberry chicken.
We're probably going this weekend. But Bill uses YouTube for 2 things. One is recipes, and Bill he's an excellent cook. And the other is watching all these guys that catfish and run trot lines from Texas to North Carolina to everywhere you can imagine. I told this before. He's come up with the crazy stuff, and stuff soap that he's made, that stinks to high heaven, and all kinds of things. And a couple of years ago, maybe or longer now, he told me we were going to fish with this strawberry chicken. And of course, I made fun of him again, but he just takes chicken thighs and cuts them into, bite-sized pieces, and puts them in a Ziploc, and then puts strawberry jello in there, just the dust, the mix. Shakes them up and puts them in the refrigerator and overnight, and it works. I mean, whatever, it works, and so that's he'll come up with something new, I'm sure, not too long from now.
It's funny, and but it's a smell. I mean, whatever that smell is, and that's what gets them.
To my knowledge, catfish neither eat chicken nor strawberry jello, so I don't know why they eat it, but they do.
Have a unique smell.
They do. I had to eat crow on that one, but yeah, that one actually worked.
Yeah. And the reason a lot of people use catawba worms is because they stay on the hook so well.
Yeah.
And when you rebait them, I mean, you put it right on there. So,
Well, that's the thing with the chicken. When you cut it in that pieces, it really stays on there.
And also, I've been with y'all several times. We go up in the sloughs sometimes and put the trot lines, and sometimes sort of put the bush hooks out in the river. Still doing it that way? You put a trot line in the middle, or what y'all doing now?
Well, you know, we just run up the different creeks and kind of find a place where maybe you've got a log drag or something where the water's moving, and put them there. And I have done my best to discourage him from putting them across the river anymore, because it takes 2 days to run it, and you're in the middle of all that current and traffic and everything else.
Exactly.
But so Bill actually went and got a commercial catfishing license. This is where he can do some different things. So yeah, he did.
All right, let's go from catfishing to fly fishing. I've got some calls. Charles Nichols called me the other day, and fly fishing. There's so many places to fly fish in the Panhandle, and they were up at Deer Point Lake, and it was a little early. I don't think they had that much luck. He and his boys. Now Charles is about to turn 93, so isn't that amazing that you're out there fishing? And
I love it.
On the fly fishing?
I love it.
And a great loyal viewer. We'll hear from him a lot. We about hit May. Okay, and we got the always the legendary mayflies. So what we got to look forward to? I know
Well, there are, like at Dead Lakes, there are no mayflies. Okay, we didn't see any evidence of anything.
Okay.
But now Dalton called me the other day, and up on the Choctawhatchee, he said that there was a hatch going off up there.
Okay.
And he knows, you know. So, but yeah, soon, you know, we should have some mayflies going on, and that just makes it, you know, a ball, just an absolute ball. And you know, I love to go to Dead Lakes, but there are other places that you can get where you can fly fish, and it's pretty simple. I mean, right now, most everybody's using those wee-wall bugs. You know, I mean, I don't know how many I've got.
I told Charles to they haven't fished that area much, and the sun's down and he loves to fly fish. I told him, go down, stop by Wee-Wall Wiggler Bait and Tackle. Mm-hmm. They've got a whole wall full of those Wee-Wall BB flies, all different colors and contraptions. And check with Richard Lawrence. And Richard, you know, he's managing it right there, and his family's there. And he'll know basically about mayfly hatch, about what's going on in different areas, and just get some information. He'll be glad to share it with you.
Yeah, we always stop there. We get our earthworms there and stuff that we catfish with. Yeah, last time they were almost scary. They were big as snakes. You know, you used to use a half of one.
He makes a special trip a couple times a week to get fresh bait. I mean, fresh and big old healthy.
Yeah.
I said it looked like they want steroids. A big old one.
There's some big ones, but you know, the fly fishing, it's not like in the mountains. You know, those big brim are kind of, you know, they're not as smart as freshwater trout. But you know, you get a 3 or 4 weight fly rod with a good floating line, and you know, and I use maybe 6 or 7 feet of like 6-pound monofilament on it or something, and you don't have to, you know, try to fool them too much, but just
sort of get it up under there.
Kind of work around, start throwing.
You know, talking about the Choctawhatchee River. That is a beautiful area. A lot of times it's overlooked by fly fishermen because you have those creeks and rivers, and you have little lakes in there, little ponds. You know, beautiful place. And J.B. Hiller, if you're watching this morning, get us a report from that area on if the mayfly are hatching, and that's going to be interesting.
And you know, on your main fly line, color doesn't matter. Howard had that orange color, and I think I had a yellow on there. But get that fly line dressing and do about 10 or 15 feet of it, and then run it on down your leader, and that keeps your line sitting on top. Because if it starts dragging, it's hard to set the hook and that kind of thing. But now, as far as your flies, you know, they have those big, long rubber legs on them, and we'll trim those down, you know, maybe take a quarter of an inch over or so to be more compact, because they'll grab those legs, you know, at times. But you can go to Walmart or just about anywhere and buy this can of like silicone, not silicone spray, but it's tent waterproofing, you know, which if you got to spray your tent waterproof, you're in trouble. But, you know, and it's cheap, and we take that and spray it on the flies.
Okay.
Kind of dry them off a little bit, and then they'll sit on top. You know, years ago when we were fishing, you know, fly fishing like Deer Point, and Bill and I have been fishing that since as far as I can remember, at night mostly, but you buy these little cans of that spray, and they were expensive as heck, but you buy this big can of this tent sealant stuff, put it on there, and that fly will sit right on top. And it's easy just to pop it on there and keep it on top.
What a good tip. You know, you don't, those little things like that, because you want to replicate nature. And when that fly sort of falls from a tree and hits the water, it floats. You know, it really does. It doesn't sink to start with, and that replicates nature right there.
Yeah, and you run around the river too. The snakes are starting to get active. You know, it's warming up.
Y'all starting to see some snakes?
Keep an eye on them. We killed one. We killed a water moccasin the other day that was a man.
Ooh.
He was about 4 feet, or you know, and just looked huge, but laying up on top. But before you start going under, you know, things, take a look up, you know, because they're everywhere. And we got to see a couple of young alligators too.
Good.
That were not concerned about us at all. We went past them to this one area where we were actually rod and reel fishing, and there was one about maybe 3 or 4 feet just on top of a log, just didn't pay any attention to us, and then a smaller one, you know, about that size, not far. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Let's take our final break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Sitting here with my co-host Bill Allen, and my good dear friend for a long time, and just a buddy of mine. You know,
many
buddies, hard to beat. Appreciate you coming on.
We actually played softball together, what?
Way back in the day.
40 years ago plus.
Are you still the only high school All-American in baseball?
Don't know.
At one time, he had to claim, for Bay County, the only legitimate high school All-American to come out of Bay County for a long time. Played, was caught at Bay High School.
I don't even know who that was either.
He was amazing.
We've got this weekend you were asking about, which you got invited to again.
Wait, let me do the fishing game time.
Oh,
okay, fishing game time, Blue Water Outriggers, 4:13 to 6:13 this morning, and this afternoon 4:42 to 6:42. Today's a Monday, and Thursday morning, go ahead and finish your story.
Oh, yeah, well, we've got our North Carolina fly fishing trip coming up.
Which he's invited me on, and I've gone before.
Yeah.
Wonderful trip. Yeah. Our itinerary usually consists of what?
Yeah, well, I usually leave somewhere about, like Thursday, I'll leave about 3 o'clock in the morning, because I get too excited, I can't sleep anyway, so we just started leaving. Now Dalton, you know, my youngest son's coming this time, which I always love up there being with him, and then my brother-in-law Cliff and his son-in-law Taylor, who's an absolutely wonderful guy. I don't know if anybody else is going to make it or not, but I know the 4 of us are. And so if I leave about 3 o'clock, it puts me up the mountains to where we camp at about noon.
Yep.
And then so we can throw some stuff together and get that Thursday afternoon in. Then we'll fish Friday, Saturday, and come home Sunday. But now once we catch enough, we only eat fish one night. So once we catch enough for us to eat Saturday night, and we catch and release after that.
Yeah.
We just let them go. You can't freeze them, they're not any good, and I don't want to waste them anyway. So it's a wonderful trip.
Well, I had just a wonderful time the times I've gone, and it's something about sleeping in a tent next to the river. It's just something always
I mean, you're not
you're camping out. And
10 or 15 yards from the creek, Snowbird Creek. It's in the Snowbird Mountains in western North Carolina.
In the western part of North Carolina, which is your daddy's home creek and all.
Yeah.
Dad grew up there,
Yeah,
so they know it well. Your cousin's still up there?
I've got a cousin up there that's 5 years older than me that he's funny. He's got a master's degree, and he went right back to that little town to work because he was fly fishing when he was big enough to stand up. And when I say that, I mean he's been on magazines. He's been in the sports field. They've written books about him. He he can do things with a fly rod that, you know, I tend to think that I'm pretty good at it, but when I'm standing by him, it's just embarrassing. He can do anything with a fly
He's
rod.
something else, yeah.
Well, you met him. You met him. He's fantastic. He's great with it.
Unique.
And my dad got a Field and Stream award, which I showed you that time, those little buttons and stuff. He caught almost an 8-pound brown trout in not that creek, but in Santila Creek, which is just the other side of the lake.
Beautiful country up there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The mountains and the streams, and I love going up there. And he told me a little while back, he said, okay, here's our date, we're going. And I said, all right. So I go to the refrigerator, I keep my calendar. Gail laughed at me. You're supposed to keep it in the phone and all, but I take a picture of my calendar and keep it. So where's I'm going to be? I've got 2 senior recognitions. Look at my month of May. This weekend I've got the Bayou Bash, and I've got Sunday. Maddie's graduating from college, so I've got something. My calendar is full, and my most favorite month of the year. So I'm gonna miss out on the trip. And
yeah, it's nice. That's a state, actually a state area where we camp, but the national forest comes right up to the other side of the creek, and this is there are no facilities up there. There's no power, no facility, and you know they have these campsites. Yeah, and you don't reserve them. You don't pay for them. It's a first come basis, and Marty, that's my cousin, will usually go up there and see if our campsite's open, and he'll put a tent up there or something like that the day before we come up there.
That's the beauty of it. You get back to nature, and right there, there's not a lot of no houses around. I mean, you're in the woods. You got a beautiful natural campsite, and you got the river right there. And walk up and down that river. It's really special.
Yeah, we eat pretty good up there too.
We eat real good. We eat real good.
Saturday night we eat fish, and then that first night, Donna usually makes this wonderful chili and from scratch, and so we usually have that the first night because it's so hectic, you know, trying to get everything together. But then after that, traditionally my brother-in-law Cliff will do pork chops, but your gas station pork chops. This deli, this butcher shop is in a gas station up there in North Georgia somewhere.
Unique.
Those pork chops are that thick and that big around, which he's cooking on charcoal on a grate that I have, and he fusses over them. You'd think they'd be impossible to cook, but they come out just delicious. Perfect. He marinates them. He stays up with them.
We're gonna run out of time.
As usual.
Y'all plan an outdoor trip like this, and send us your pictures and all, and just get out and enjoy the outdoors. And always, Bill, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Always, pal.
Okay, well, I'll take him out to breakfast now. Y'all do something good for someone. You ready?
Yep.
Do something good for someone else today. Have a great day. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of it, and God bless.
God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.